Hello and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me at CGB, and today we're checking in with Historic and playing a long-lost favorite of the Control Mages, the SCARAB God, with Amonkhet Remastered added to the mix. Here we go. This card, big ball of text, says you win the game in a million freaking ways. At the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent loses life. You scry, where scry is the number of zombies you control. No biggie. 2 blue, black, exile a creature card from a graveyard. Create a token that's a copy of it, except it's a 4/4 zombie. Ooh. And when the SCARAB God dies, return it to the owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. Oh, so it keeps coming back for more, baby. Card was a scourge, an absolute scourge of Standard in a good way. Like, it was a really good villain in Standard, quite honestly, and it was sparring with the likes of Energy and Vehicles, really broken stuff in its Standard day. So I'm nostalgic for the SCARAB God. I know there was a thing. It was a lot like Nissa is now. Okay, the SCARAB God was the Nissa of its day. If the opponent plays a Nissa and you don't kill the Nissa, the opponent untaps and does freaking broken stuff. That's kind of what the SCARAB God is. If you play the SCARAB God and the opponent does not kill it, then you start reanimating creatures and doing all kinds of nonsense. As far as what to reanimate, this is going for a Dimir Midrange shell built around the SCARAB God that it's going to try, honestly it's probably too fair to be good, but it's going to try to play a mid-range game where we have some removal for the threats that the opponent offers. We have Languish to sweep up their creatures, and as far as the creatures that we get back, we're just going to try to get a little value and fill our graveyard with Champion of Wits, one of my favorites. When it enters the battlefield, you can draw cards equal to its power. If you do, discard 2 cards, and then you Eternalize for 7, which brings it out as a 4/4. If you make it a 4/4 with the SCARAB God, you get to also draw 4 cards and discard 2 cards. The card is card neutral. It's basically 3 mana for like some kind of a mill 2, like a messed up mill 2 that's terrible against Narset. But it helps you get deeper in your deck, find your SCARAB God, and put a few creatures in the graveyard for later. Teferi Master of Time does a very similar job, trying to find creatures and get them in the graveyard for the SCARAB God. And then the creatures that we run 4 Languish because goblins suck. Anyway, we've got Gonti, Lord of Luxury, which is a really sweet card that was put into one of the recent sets. Jumpstart, yeah. When it enters the battlefield, look at the top 4 of the opponent's library and exile 1 face down, and you get to play it. Oh, people hate it when you touch their cards, man. Gonti, oh yeah, you get to touch their cards. 4 of them, and you play the best one. It's evil in a good way. Then we have a Chupacabra and a Hostage Taker to have basically creatures that we can reanimate that also kill an opponent's creature. And then on the top end, we have Dream Eater to bounce permanents and surveil, keep the graveyard full for the SCARAB God, Massacre Worm to wipe the board, Scholar of the Lost Trove to recast a spell, like maybe a Languish or a removal spell, and we've got Platinum Angel, which just says we can't lose the game. So it's an interesting card to get back because they have to deal with it or they can't win, but they still have to deal with the SCARAB God. So it's kind of fun. There are also 4 more cards I didn't mention in the deck. 4 copies of Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize. Target player reveals their hand. Choose a non-land card. That player discards that card. You lose 2 life. It's worth it. It's worth the 2 life. But just in case the 2 life is too painful, I mean, I guess, how do we gain life back with this deck? What's that? We don't? Never mind. It's just, we're gonna do it anyway. I'm a sucker for pain and dying to burn. I had Gifted Aetherborn in this deck. That's gone now. We're just gonna have to reanimate Platinum Angel. That's all there is to it. If our life total is low, this is our life gain card. All right. What could go wrong? Anyway. Looking up and down the mana base, just a bunch of 1-ofs to try out a whole bunch of the new lands that got introduced, and you can see you can almost run Field of the Dead here in this deck, which is insane. But the blue is mostly a splash color. You don't require double blue anywhere until like 6 and 7 mana. I guess Master of Time likes 2 blue. We'll get 1 more island in there. I think the reason I had the swamp so high is I used to run Gifted Aetherborn, but it's just, Gifted Aetherborn is a sweet card, but it's underpowered. It's just underpowered in the meta. It's a little bit slow. Against goblins, you really have to kill things, because against green, you definitely have to kill things. So, yeah, we're going to try play queue, see how it goes, see if this deck holds up, and then decide whether or not it's a ranked worthy deck. I'm guessing the answer is no. It's a bit too fair, but it's really just, I want to play with Scarab God. There's probably better ways to do it, which I'll explore. But today, I'm going back to my roots of how I played Scarab God in Amonkhet Standard, Dimir Midrange. Awkward hand with the tower and the catacomb. But if we draw land, it's good. Stomping Ground. Oh, that's a good one. Perfect. Fetid Pools is a cycling land. That is blue and black. But it also is an island or swamp, which means your Drowned Catacombs is untapped. But we could also take this opportunity to scry. Or, sorry, not scry. Get out another Pools. I think we'll just play this. If the opponent does absolutely nothing, we'll draw a card. If they play something, we'll kill it. It's a good life. We got this. Temple of Abandon. Opponent showing us Jund stuff. What are you doing with Jund stuff? So, we could hold up Supreme Will for Collected Company, a new card in the format that is absolutely taking the format by storm, or we could be assertive and play Champion of Wits. If we hold up Supreme Will, the opponent can just pass back and Collected Company on our turn. I think we go for the Champion. At least then they have to Collected Company on their turn. The Drown and the Locks aren't any good right now. Our opponent has no graveyard, so I'm going to pitch them both. And the opponent strikes away the Champion, which is fine. The graveyard is a fine place for that card. Questing Beast. Okay, not quite what I expected, but Heartless Act is up to the task. Get ready for a Scarab God next turn. We'll wait till combat to kill the Beast in case they have two. I guess they could go for an Embercleave here. Would we want them to resolve it? I guess it takes their whole turn. No, they don't have enough mana for a cleave. What am I talking about? Kill it. That's going to be a fun one to get with a Scarab God, man. Waker of the Dead? Special art. Discard a card. I'm down for that. Let's drop off this Champion. Opponent drops a land. Thoughtseize. Ooh. Ooh. I kind of really want to Thoughtseize the opponent before I play Scarab God. But slam the Scarab God. See if we get to untap with it. Opponent has a graveyard of 3. It's not enough. They're going to target it anyway. Maybe they have another removal spell. Okay. You know what happens to the Scarab God? It comes back to my hand. Yep. Let's go. Thoughtseize you. What you got? Turn 1 Thoughtseize. Get used to it, everyone. Brazen Borrower, Teferi, settle the wreckage. That's an easy one. Blue-white control. Get ready for a war. Our best cards are Thoughtseize. They probably have a lot of ways to deal with our Scarab God. That Brazen Borrower being among them. And we've got a slow hand. So we're just cycling a Fetid Pools here. 4 mana, remove creatures. Not good. But the opponent might just run the Borrower out. We will see. Nope. Not interested in that. Too much removal. Too few creatures. So, They've had 2 draws off the top. Is one of them a counter spell? Let's find out. That's about right. That's about how my day goes. I bet one's a Teferi too. Okay, maybe not yet. Let's go in for a Champion of Wits. Definitely don't need you. If we're gonna take something, we should use the Hostage Taker. So let's drop off the Chupa. It's not the kind of thing you want a Brazen Borrower. Just giving me more cards that way. Just make a 1/1. Trade it with a champion. There you go. There you go. They found it. So we don't block there. We're going to attack them back. If they want to use their mana to make a 1/1 to block it, good. So one interesting choice is we can sacrifice the Champion of Wits and try to make a 4/4. And the opponent can't counter that. So if they drew a counter spell, that won't do it. Eternalize is uncounterable. I think that's the play. Gosh, Phyrexian Tower is a sweet card. Haha! Now they can Brazen Borrow it, of course. But we get the cards. Alright, what are the cards that we don't need? Hostage Taker can steal a Borrower, which is pretty cool. We have a lot of land. We don't really need all of it. 2 Supreme Wills isn't bad. I guess I don't really want to play the front side of this champion. I'd rather Eternalize another champion. Opponent's the most aggressive blue-white mage I've ever seen in my life. This could be interesting if they play Approach of the Second Sun. Go again, Island. Let's try for a Hostage Taker. Hostage Taker is another card that got a lot better without Teferi Time Raveler to just bounce their own things back. Now that not every deck has a million free bounce effects, it's a better card. Absorb. Should we drown in the lock? If we play a Supreme Will, it plays into Censor. Yeah, let's fight. Give me that. Now if the opponent taps low to play Wrath of God to blow up the Hostage Taker and get back their Borrower, we can play something else. Or that works, I guess. Still the most aggressive blue-white mage. They have a reputation to uphold. Dream Eater. That's pretty fun. Let's keep fighting them with the Hostage Taker. I should have left it. I've got a... Auto Tapper doesn't know what to do with these lands, you guys. They really don't. I've got to remember to leave the tower open. Uh-huh. So, 3 mana open. Let's just hit him with this. Most aggressive blue-white player I've ever seen. So let's see what they do now. Yeah, you cycle that Censor. Looks like they're lining up the Field of Ruin. We have a Castle Locthwain, a Rivulet, and a Tower. Those are all tempting Field of Ruin targets. Interesting. We can cast the other side. Don't let the mana cost fool you, though. That's a new bug. Let's attack and see if the opponent settles. They've been really aggressive so far. They might be aggressive again. Tetris music? Do 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 do. They're gonna do it. All right. Petty theft your token. This goes to our adventure zone. We have to cast it with blue mana, but we've got that. And I will take my land. That's pretty sweet for a hostage taker. And now we could resolve the Dream Eater. I think we just say go. Opponent will do something. We can play this Brazen Borrower and a Supreme Will. Long tank. Looks like the opponent says go. That's why you play all these instant speed cards, you guys. Oh, we're doing it. We're actually doing it. Okay. So against approach of the second sun, you let the first one resolve and you always counter the second one. So we hang on to the Supreme Will. Yeah, you got it. The Platinum Angel is going to be fun, though. Thoughtseize is good. We try to get the opponent's counter spell before the turn that they would cast it. Or the Wrath. I don't think they have a Wrath, though. That Settle was a bit of a tell there. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, 9. We also have the Rivulet. Rivulet can mill away the approach. I'm not sure what I should do. I think I do Thoughtseize the opponent, make them play off the top. They tanked so hard, though. I don't think that last card is very interesting, but I can probably find another Thoughtseize. Another Settle down. Okay. Makes sense. We could lose on the spot if they draw another approach, so we should say go. We can play the Borrower, attack with it, sack it for mana next turn, and then play either the Champion or the Angel. This is my Borrower. And we don't want to tap the tower so that the opponent can't borrow the Borrower. But look at my life total, man. No guts, no glory. Sphinx's Rev. Okay. That doesn't get you there, though. The approach is right there. Another Thoughtseize go to 1. And then I have to watch out for the tokens and the Borrower. Oh well. That's life. Azcanta and Narset. Azcanta is pretty slow and mana intensive. So let's take that. Down to 1. Let's do this before they can... Well, I guess they don't want a Field of Ruin, right? They would shuffle their card back in. And they're not going to get to it next turn. And we still have the 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Scarab God, right? Keep this, keep one of these. It's a good game. Very tense. Oh, dog. Doggy Barco. There you go, police in the battlefield again. Azcanta to the field. Yep. I wonder why they're so aggressive when they're in approach of the second sun deck. But they got us to 1. You can't hate on them too much. They play land. They say go. Now, in response, the opponent can use field so that the approach doesn't get milled. Let's see what they'll probably go after the tower. They should go after the tower, but then they can't make a 1/1 with the castle, which is a big deal because that means we don't have to save a blocker or mana for a blocker. So it's all part of the battle. All right. Did not hit it. Scarab God triggers, no scries. And now, did we drop the angel? I think we do. If the opponent wraths the board, the Scarab God comes back, but we still need to draw a land. If we draw a land, we can replay the angel. Ooh, I know. We just play this and put the angel in the graveyard, then we can reanimate it with the Scarab God. That's sick. It would be also really sick if the opponent didn't see it. If they were like, you know. Also, they have a Brazen Borrower. We have to watch out for that. I guess Heartless Act is a solution. But then we don't get the angel back. Do we get rid of the Teferi here? Make sure we hit a land drop? Because what's Teferi going to do? That might be useful later. Let's drop this. Heartless Act for the Brazen Borrower. Supreme Will for an Approach of the Second Sun. We're still at 1. 1 frickin' life. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The Supreme Will won't stop the approach, actually. They have enough mana once they flip his Kanta. But the Platinum Angel will still work. So they go for the Borrower. They use the Azcanta. They flip. Crucial turn. They shuffle with the Passage. They can't hit the approach and cast it. They don't have the mana. What they need is a Wrath. Let's see what they get. Still 1 unknown card in their hand, too. It's a Wrath. We can counter it. We don't go for the angel. If they have an absorb here, do we lose? We do. In that case, we don't counter the Wrath, and we just get back the Chupa, because if they top deck to counter, we just lose here, and we're not dead to this Wrath. Like, it's obnoxious, but we get the Scarab God back, and we still have the Platinum Angel play. I do wish we'd kept a land last turn, though. Because the game goes on, and it's a tight one. I really wish we'd kept a land. Now if the opponent hits approach, we just lose. I should have kept the Watery Grave. Here they go. Of course, if they hit approach here, off the Azcanta, we win. Because we Supreme Will them. We also need to stop on our upkeep so that we get the 1 drain trigger from the Scarab God. We have to make a zombie on our upkeep that deals 6. They find Absorb. Okay. They don't have enough right now to make a token, block, and absorb, though. Patrolling the graveyard. Looking around. Teferi. What if they have Censor? I still, yeah, we can't play this game. We have to go for it now. We can't play around everything anymore. All right. This is how we get the last point of damage too. It's pretty awesome. Tough game. Tough game. And that last unknown card, it could have been a counter that we played around by reanimating the Chupa and getting Wrathed. It could have been an Absorb. Keeps. Removal, removal, removal. See what happens. Yay, they play creatures. Oh my gosh, I thought it would never happen. They run some Riot creatures and things like that, so Heartless Act doesn't age as well as Cast Down if they're playing Gruul. But it looks like they're on Jund, which I think this is... The deck Croakies has been piloting. It's a ramp into Citadel deck. If we draw Supreme Will and Thoughtseize, it should be okay, but it's a Collected Company deck too, which can't really beat that card. So I guess we Teferi.
This isn't my first time being the hero.
Thoughtseize is a turn late. Drop off the Dream Eater. There's the Company. Hope they whiff. 2 Mayhem Devils. That's not a whiff. Anything but. Let's see how they want to attack. They're going after Teferi. So phasing something probably doesn't do anything here. But they might... Oh, they might be able to go off this turn. We will see. So what do we discard? Hostage Taker can hit a Citadel. I think we drop off the Chupa. Teferi down.
My past is catching up to me.
Jesus. What a monster. So now the objective is, if they can avoid hitting land here, they just get to play... Yeah, wow. They hit Priest into double Company Blood Artist. If we steal this, they get Priest and they just get it back, so that's not an option. So we just have to hope they whiff on their Citadel for a turn, and that they don't have good cards in their hand. They are at 10, but they're going up to 15. Fourth Devil in the top 20. Makes sense. Although it's not really the top 20, is it? Alright, give me the Citadel. Hope this lives. We know they're drawing a land. Because otherwise, why would they stop? Goose. No way to sacrifice, though. No Woe Strider. You're telling me there's a chance. Their last card must be a land. There's nothing else they would just sit on. So we need to get this out. And get this out. We could Thoughtseize them, but then we're just losing life, and I don't think it's for any real reason. Yeah. It might be a claim. This deck plays claim, doesn't it? And I think we attack. And they might sacrifice something to use the mana next turn, so we should kill the Mayhem Devil now. All 4 Mayhem Devils are dead, but Blood Artist is still a way to combo kill me. Yep, make 2 mana. Trigger, trigger. They could have also sacked the food. I'm very surprised they didn't. Yeah, if they were going to do that, do it when it's going to give them a point of damage, right? Llanowar Elves, good. Land, good. My Citadel. I'm only got 8 life, but hey, we can play some land. Oof. What does that leave me at? Pretty much nothing. So we pass. Whenever a creature dies, right now there's 4 damage on the battlefield with this Blood Artist, so we're gonna have to cast it down at some point. Uh-oh. Okay, Priest. Why the careful taps? I guess, oh yeah, I learned this last time, the tower. Oh man, we've got to kill the Blood Artist first though, right? And we don't want to play it off the top, it would kill us. Alright, then I guess we're not Massacre Worming this board? Yeah, I can't draw it. I could go to 2, then I just die. Alright, kill the Blood Artist. Make mana for no reason. Good job. You did it. You are a master. Alright. Da-da-da-da-da. Charge. Languish. Let's hold on to Massacre Worm. It's just a huge body, right? It might kill them. Plus, a lot of their stuff likes to die, and the Massacre Worm can drain them out. They have... This deck can top deck Collected Company, though, which is very scary. It's very scary. They might just draw that at any time. Another land, yes! Yes! I can't believe it. We might actually come back from this. We've got a chance. Let's just say go. Like, obviously we're not going to use the Citadel the way that they would. We can't expect to draw 1,000,000 cards in a turn. We don't have life gain in our deck. Like, what would I even do if I drew this with a Mind Stone? What would I even do? Alright, they found a goose. Do we cast it down? I think we hold on to it. Champion of Wits, I like it. Okay. All creatures, so we can send this to the graveyard. Whenever a creature an opponent control dies, they lose 2 life. They're not going to block, right? Let's find out. Whoa, okay. Oh, don't forget to sack it for pointless mana. Yep, good job. Gotta love sacrifice opponents. They must be really sad that they no longer have, or this is historic, I guess they could have it, but I would say when they don't have their cat oven, they're like, well, how else can I waste time, is the joke I'm trying to make. Scarab God. Don't have the mana to play him. We have the life to play him. I would call that loose. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You can just make a goose. 4/4 goose and eat the food. That's epic. Hello. Go. Yes! Yes! I did not think today that I would be casting a Scarab God off a stolen Bolas's Citadel. But now that I have, I am happy. A little bit of awkward mana, but we don't have many 3-drops anyway. So we'll try it. The Mind Stone ramping into Chupa and Scarab is really nice. We have to draw a swamp or an island for that to totally work, but it's close. And the fact that we still have a Heartless Act to buy us time is good. Second Mind Stone in the deck. Off the top. Classic. Blue-white spirits. Okay. Well, hopefully we draw the land for the Languish. Maybe Bant Spirits with Collected Company. Seth Manfield was playing that yesterday. Former world champion and streamer. Has a few thousand viewers. It's not crazy to think some of them might have decided to try the deck out. Let's hope that we get a nice Languish. Herald, yep. I don't remember if they play counter spells. So we might actually not be casting the... Do I care? Yeah. I mean, this is tap 2 creatures and it can only block flyers. Let's go after this one. I might not be casting Languish next turn because Collected Company just lets them really refill. Ooh, they censor. Okay, they do run permission. They're going to regret that. But if they hit land and go Collected Company, ugh. Let's just Scarab God. Got another censor? No. They got the company though. Pew pew. Let's see if they get anything good. Double Nimble Obstructionist? I mean, that's aggressive. That is not weak. We have untapped with Scarab God. We should win game now, right? Everything they have flies, so we should attack. My plan is to reanimate their Nimbleghast Herald, tap one of their creatures, and cast down another. If we ever draw another land, we can champion a Wits, discard a Hostage Taker or a Chupa. It's always a second Collected Company, right? I mean, maybe our opponent got stuck in the sandstorm. If they have to think this hard, it's probably not another Collected Company. It's probably something else. Never mind. 2 Spectral Sailors. This is a good opportunity to use a cast down on one of these obstructionists and slow them down. When you cycle it, counter target activated or triggered ability. That's obnoxious. I was wondering about that and if I should hold a cast down or not. All right, we don't want to pass 2 attackers. We want to get a Herald, a 4/4 flying Herald, and tap the obstructionist. We have to remember that they have these, but obviously they don't have one ready in hand, or I think they would try to counter that ability. Heroic Intervention? Okay, bro. Okay, dude. Supreme Will on top, that's not going to do it. The opponent's at 12, though. This is 9. Do we have a way to deal more damage? I don't see anything hasty. It says whenever a Herald or another spirit enters the battlefield under your control, tap a creature. So I can get back another spirit to tap another one of these. The super bold play is to go for Champion of Wits, looking for an untapped land, but then all I really did was get an extra Champion of Wits, which there isn't a lot of point to. Could cycle this, but I think having it available for next turn is probably good. So this means our only play is to get another spirit with the Scarab God. So let's attack. And see if the opponent can pull another Heroic Intervention out of their butt. Oh, we could hostage take this Phantom. That's 2 blockers. That's not the worst, and it really reduces their power on the field. Why did I only just see that? I almost missed it completely. That's like that's solid. That's what we're looking for. The Glass Spinner. It's not going to help you. Okay. We got a mono red player playing spirits. That's what we have here today. Yep, land on top. 6 life, can only block here. 1 mana open, can't even be a Spectral Sailor. It seems like we should just attack and win. Let's find out if that works. Got him. Got him, got him, got him. We're giving the deck a shot in ranked, and of course we see one of the worst hands we've had so far. But if we draw a land, Champion of Wits can fix it. Oh, that's so tough, right? 26 lands, 24 lands. It's about 50-50. from here on in that we draw that land. It's like 43% chance. Okay, our opponent has Kahira as companion, which I don't know if that means they're the cat deck. Their pet makes me think so, but it could just be a creatureless control deck. It's the cat deck. The cat deck's not a joke. It's close to a joke, but it's not really a joke. But Languish is looking really nice. Uh-huh. Awkward. If we play this tap land, we definitely have Languish next turn. Maybe that's better. And then the champion actually sticks around, but we do nothing. And if the opponent gains another point of life, we play the Chupacabra. I guess that's not too bad. Good. Oh no, the Pridemate's too big. Only because of the Kahira. If we sweep the board, the Kahira goes away, and then the Pridemate dies too. Finally, a good Languish. I feel like I've been waiting for that. Now we try to set up the Massacre Worm. The opponent buys their Kahira, brings back their Sacred Cat with Embalm. Supreme Will. I think we just play a Supreme Will and try to either find a Scarab God or another land for the worm. We could play the front. Actually, I like playing this. I think that's a better use of mana than the Supreme Will. It leaves a body on the field. We don't really need Supreme Will here. We didn't find the untapped land. Let's drop off the Scholar. I think we drop off the Gonti. It's a grindy card. This is not a grindy matchup. Oh, they got a Caracal. Okay. Take this block? No. Not when we're likely to be able to keep this around. Interesting draw. So we can play the Mind Stone, take out the Caracal. Opponent can play the Kahira, pump all the cats. They might attack again, but then we play Massacre Worm for a one-sided board wipe. Oh yeah, keep it coming. Come on. Come on, you can do more. Come on. If they actually avoided it, if they didn't attack here, I'd be pretty happy. Of course, because I don't plan to block. Shockland. What are you doing? What are they doing? They're looking at that graveyard. They're like, this. They have some kind of reanimation spell. They're not wrong. But it's a Scarab God. It's a very slow reanimation spell attached to a 5/5 beat stick. Primal Might is the play. Interesting. Take out the champion. No blocks. Very low life total. All part of the charm, I guess you could say. Opponent goes to 31. This is still going to take a while to kill him. But this is a good start. Cat came back the very next day. Is that the third Kahira? And a Vanguard. They just won't stop. Okay, what do we take? I want the life gain kitty. Give me life gain kitty. I want points of life. I will now proceed to wreck you with your own cat. I know. Not a cool guy. But I'm not attacking. I don't want to trade my worm. Not really. And yeah. They don't need to hang around and see what happens when Scarab God shows up. And we've won a game of ranked against Cat Aggro. Booyah. On the play, our opponent has a Lurrus. Could be cycling, could be auras. The Languish, I think, is reason enough to keep. Although the mana is Clunk. That fixes it because we weren't going to use turn 2 anyway, and it's an island swamp, so these will now enter untapped. Well, bye-bye Scarab God. I'm guessing. Maybe they go for the Languish. But yeah, Scarab God's a lightning rod for hate. Young Pyromancer deck? It's looking like one. Alright, let's start using Champion of Wits to fix the hand. That's a lot of land. We can drop these off. Pillar of Flame exiles Champion of Wits, a good addition to the deck for sure. Having cheap exile ability for red is nice. Wow. Goes after the Languish. I definitely want to keep the castle. Let's lead with the champ here, but I don't plan to discard the Castle Locthwain. It's a lot of land. Filling our graveyard in, that's for sure. There's the Pyromancer. Now it can start doing business. If near Deadlands... Oh, well, let's just be done with that. Let's attack first. Maybe the opponent will want to trade instead of let a land kill their Pyromancer. But it is one of the key threats in the deck. I don't like Stone Raining myself to kill it, but they're on 2 mana, so we're not falling too far behind. The fact that they're a Lurrus deck means they have ways to get it back. Oh, they have Claim. Return target creature 2 or less to the battlefield. Oh, goodness. Oh man, that's messed up. 3 Thought Seizes too. Have a Heartless Act. Do it again. Trying to keep them down. Okay, their draw's been extremely redundant in a good way in this matchup, which is kind of super frustrating. Like 3 Thought Seizes and 2 Pillars of Flame is messed up. Messed up to play against. They're still not hitting land. Nice. Next turn we can bring out the champion. At least we got one of them into the graveyard instead of exiled. Stitcher Supplier, fill that graveyard. Oh, 3 land? They get their Pyro. Man. I should take this turn to kill that Pyromancer. Gonti. Sweet. I would like my own Pyromancer. They buy their Lurrus, they attack. So we need a removal spell or something ready for that Lurrus. We know it's coming. And I know their deck runs that kind of stuff. Goodness gracious. Look at those creatures. Obviously we don't want to pick the Kroxa. It would go to their graveyard if we ever cast it, so we'll play our own Pyromancer. We have a huge mana advantage, we just need the cards. The Castle Locthwain's trying to help with that. So this is +2/+0 and haste until end of turn on the Aftermath, which is really sweet for a reanimation spell. Oh, they run Vessel too. That's sick. Really? Yes, I'll let you exile that. I will not sacrifice it to the tower. My goodness. They are good at drawing cards that are very effective. To the field. Let's keep the tower around. Might come in handy. Give me that 4/4. There's a Languish, a Thoughtseize. I have to discard 2 cards. I think they're going to Village Rites, and then if they draw a land, they're going to get back the Archfiend's Vessel. Should I Thoughtseize them this turn? I think I should, right? Then next turn we play Scarab God and use it. I think that's way better. Thoughtseize. Oh, for the Scarab God. You monster. Alright, I'm taking it. The 4th one, by the way. The 4th one. Ooh, they kept the Vessel on the field. That's good for us. But I think they milled another one, which means if they draw a land, they still get a 5/5. Cool deck. Like, deck gets a big cool from me. I saw versions of the Pyromancer deck when it was revealed in Jumpstart, but it looks a lot better with Amonkhet. Like, a lot better with Thoughtseize, obviously. I didn't leave the frickin' tower untapped, but there's the scoop. I've got enough mana to play a Scarab God and use it. But, man, I gotta watch out for that auto tapper. It hates the tower. Guys, we might be going for top 100 playing Scarab God. How exciting is that? We're up against a Gigantha. Could be a lot of things. Yep, the mono red burn deck. This is a bad matchup. We don't have enough life gain. We run almost no life gain in our deck. This is the matchup where if I had a sideboard, the Gifted Aetherborns would be good. Soulscar Mage also pretty devastating against cards like Champion of Wits. So is this optional? You may. Yeah, we gotta watch out when we play this card. If they shoot it in response... Okay, they don't. Discards. Massacre Worm, probably too slow. Teferi Time Raveler, probably bad in the matchup. Although maybe we should just hang on to... No, we drop it off because we're going to play the Scarab God first. Actually, I don't know about that. But Master of Time is too slow. I'm thinking the other Champion of Wits is way too slow. Because they might kill the Scarab God with 2 burn spells, then we'd need to follow up with Massacre Worm. We also need to keep getting lucky and drawing land off the top of the library, or this only gets worse. 26 lands, 2 Mind Stones. For those curious on numbers, they're saying 46.9% chance of a land. Here come the bolts. They only run about 20 of them. Red Mage trying to count. And a Pyro. Yep. Okay, land off the top, please. It's one that hurts me, though. It had to be, didn't it? Alright, so drop the Scarab God. They might double bolt it and attack in, so I think we've got to go with the Hostage Taker. Take at least one of their threats off the board. Put it to work for us. Okay. If they have a bunch of creatures and we draw a land that doesn't hurt us and play Massacre Worm, it doesn't hurt us. Oh my lord. Feel that mono red. Still not top 100 though. Alright. This is for top 100 for sure. On the play, 2 Languishes and a Cast Down. Let's hope it's a creature deck. They're not giving me any obvious vibes. Elves. Good. Good, good, good. I don't need to kill this one early. It's not a big deal. Visionary, sure. No big deal. Collected Company is a big upgrade that this deck got. No attacks. Nice. I like it when they're scared. That sounded so creepy. Just, editor, please. I like it when they're scared. That, I did not mean that the way it sounded. Oh, now we're attacking. I'm just going to languish this. Languish the elves. I've been doing that since the duels days, my friends, and it doesn't get old. This is interesting, because I could just kill the champion, leave the Llanowar. I don't think that's a bad idea. But I don't have any use for the 3 mana. Much easier to cast the champion later in the game. What about the Great Henge? That's a reason to kill this now. Yeah, I just want the opponent to play a bunch more things. I want them to walk into the Languish, and throwing a spot removal spell is often a way to get them to feel that way. I tried to put a stop on the bluff. Yep, here comes the wide board. Now we start placing bets. Will they survive another turn? Or will they scoop? This deck has good top decks. Like Collected Company, if they have it, is a really good top deck for this deck. So they don't have to scoop by any stretch. They might pump that Druid, though. And if they do that, we want to Dream Eat it, because it takes their whole turn. We just bounce it back, make them do it again. Oh yeah, they're going to pump it. Here it comes. Bam. None of this is very good. It's not the Scarab God. So let's... Oh, can they even beat a Platinum Angel, though? Hold on. Maybe we just draw this. They might have no removal in their entire deck. That's very possible. Can you kill it? Readapted. Alright, let's play Champion. And then play Teferi. We're on a 2-turn clock. We're really just looking for a way to put this away. Thought sees you. Forest. Oh yeah, they're in trouble. Alright, I'm going to eat the champion for 2 mana. Play the Master of Time. Plus the Teferi.
It takes impressive knowledge to be a temple.
And on their upkeep, we'll phase out the Incubation Druid. Just so they don't have access to the mana. I'm not sure what their top end is, Finale or something, but now they just don't get to do it. And that's the game. Top 100. Playing Dimir Midrange. And we are back for the post-game wrap-up for the Cool Kids Club. Shout out to you guys. Oh man, this deck is so sweet. It's freaking cool, dude. It's cool deck for cool kids. The Scarab God is an awesome card. Hostage Taker, like Champion of Wits, like all these cards kind of played their role. Massacre Worm was epic. Everybody just kind of did their job. Thoughtseize was pretty great, but frickin' Scarab God just holds the deck together. The games without him are so different from the games that are with him. And Languish is amazing against a lot of the creature tribal and swarm decks. Collected Company is a big problem. I really wanted to get some copies of Negate into the deck and ended up with spot removal instead. I think that would really hurt you against those decks, because remember, when you have Negate thinking I'm going to counter Collected Company, they're usually running 24 to 26 creatures in those decks. that can't be countered by the negate. And if they don't draw or play Collected Company and they just play the creatures, you die. So I don't like that. I don't really like that. It feels weird running a blue-black deck without good counter spells, but that's pretty much where we're at. Much better to keep containing the board until the Scarab God takes over. So yeah, love the deck. I don't think you should or need to craft Scholar or Platinum Angel or, you know, any of these mythics up here at the top end if you don't want to. You can just work your Scarab God around cards like Ravenous Chupacabra, around cards like Gifted Aetherborn if you want to. You know, there's plenty of uncommons that if you get them back with Scarab God, you win the game there as well. Also, the next thing I might try with my Scarab Gods, some kind of a Sultai deck with Uro. That sounds really fun to me because, of course, if you're building your graveyard, you'll have targets for Scarab God, or you'll keep bringing back your Uro. Either way, opponent will probably die. Champion of Wits and Uro sound like good friends too. Thank you for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and as always, I will see you in the next video. Goodbye. I like it when they're scared.